Yesterday, we spent the day at my parents' place, and it ended up being one of those ordinary days that remind you why rhythm and place matter so much. We went to pick up some compost for the garden. The kids ran around the property, and of course, we had to go pick daffodils, which is something my family has done for as long as I can remember. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is how important it is for children to have a sense of place, a place where memories collect and traditions happen, where you just keep coming back year after year. For me, this property is one of those places. When I was little, we would come out here every spring and pick daffodils, and now my children are doing the same thing. It's funny how something so simple becomes part of your story. While we were there, we also walked over to the old home place, and every time I go back, I'm reminded how much history lives in ordinary land. Generations worked here. They lived here. They raised families here. And those kinds of roots shape the way you see the world. I want my children to grow up knowing where they belong, knowing the stories of the places that formed our family. You see, my great-grandmother years ago bought this land from her brother whenever she moved back here from Oklahoma. She had wanted to build this house, and so while she was trying to make it a home, and she decided she was going to plant daffodils. And so she planted daffodils in the middle of the woods in a sleepy South Carolina town. One thing that is funny is her sister, my great-grandmother's sister, looked at her and she said, "What are you thinking? Why are you planting flowers out in the middle of the woods? Do you even think they're going to be able to grow?" And my great-grandmother, she just decided she's going to do it anyway. And it's so funny looking at the legacy that she's left, because now those daffodils basically create a waterfall of yellow that go down to the creek below. And every year we go out. We did it with my grandmother. My mother came out here and did this. And then now I take my kids and they get to pick the daffodils. Daffodils are the perfect picture of hope, of joy. And to me, this is a picture of the legacy of joy and delight that my family has passed down through the traditions that we have. One of the reasons why we came out to the property today is to get compost for our garden for this year. We're slowly building up our little corner of this homestead. Every year we say, we are going to do a garden this year. And the first year that we moved here, we had a little garden place set up, but of course, life happens. And so we had planted the garden, and then the soil, I think, was not taken care of. The weeds came in, and I think we probably got 3 pieces of corn that year. Then fast forward to the next year. Every year I start strong in the spring. I say, I am going to do this thing. But life happens. The first year, my seeds, I started too many of them, and they got crowded out as seedlings. And I didn't thin them properly, and they didn't do well. And then the next year, I had started some seeds, and then we set them out in the sun, and they withered. And so this is the year that I wanted to do a garden. And I think it's interesting, and if you think about life, soil and where we are planted matters so much. For me, as I was thinking about going and picking these daffodils, this is the soil that I am planted in. I am planted in the soil of traditions, of family, of the legacy of my family and what they passed down to me. And so as I go get compost, I'm reminded that I need to cultivate the soil that I am planting my kids in. I want to bring them up in the same things that I was brought up in, so that they understand what is important in life. And one of the things that was important for us is we learned the value of land. We learned the value of work. We learned the value of growing your own food and of making sure that you're able to somehow sustain yourself, that not everything has to be convenient. And, those lessons, some of them I kind of scoffed at as a kid, but now they are the things that I keep coming back to. And so that is what we are trying to cultivate in their life. Whenever we got back home, I started getting things ready for seed starting. So if you've never done winter sowing before, it's one of the easiest ways to start seeds. Basically, you just take milk jugs and then you cut them open, plant your seeds inside, and leave them outside so that nature can do the work. They turn into like little mini greenhouses. People do winter sowing even on up into Maine and beyond because it's the perfect way to start seeds without worrying about having to take them outside and bring them back inside and take them outside. You don't have to harden them off in the same way. Instead, you just open up the milk jug a little bit more. And so instead of being a little greenhouse, it turns just into a little pot, and then you can transfer your plants. So this was the first year that I've done winter sowing like this. And I may have started them a little bit late in the South. It gets warmer, and right now we're having a couple, 80-degree days. But the issue with the South is that it can be like this, and then once you get back into April, it can fall below freezing again. So I'm trying out this method of winter sowing this year, and we're gonna see if this works. This is one of those little rhythms that marks the shift into spring. All right, so I wanted to show you the finished product. Here it is. I'm gonna keep it on the porch until it warms up. It's pretty warm right now, but you never know. It can always fall below freezing. So whenever it's time to actually plant the garden, then we'll take them off the back porch and we'll put them in the ground. And of course, at the end of the day, I ended my day a lot of the ways that our days end in the kitchen. I started a batch of pizza dough for dinner. There's really something grounding about making food from scratch at the end of a long day, especially after being outside and working with your hands. We do a pizza movie night every Friday night. It's one of our family traditions that we really love. And so I've been working on perfecting a sourdough pizza dough recipe, and that has not happened yet. So we had the pizza dough last night. And one of the things that I was noticing is that every time you do sourdough, little things can get off, and then it can really change the way that it tastes. And so yesterday I was noticing, it's like, this pizza dough, it's not stretching the way that it should. And so that's something that I'm still working on, is trying to perfect that recipe. Days like this, they're simple, but they're the ones that build a life. Picking flowers, walking on old ground, preparing the garden and cooking dinner. None of it feels extraordinary in the moment. But over time, these are the things that become the traditions and memories that our children carry with them. And honestly, that's the kind of life that I want to keep building. If you enjoy slow living, homeschooling, gardening, and building a life rooted in faith and family, I'd love for you to follow along. Make sure you subscribe by hitting the bell below. You can also listen to the podcast. There's lots of episodes there, and you can find that on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.